What are the five food groups that cysts, cancers, and tumors love? This is the things that we will discuss today, and this is going to be quick for those of you who want a quick and just a concise knowledge when it comes to these food groups. So, these food groups are the cancer's favorite. So, the first one will be designed for those that induces insulin. So, the one that induces insulin the most is, of course, sugar. So, sugar including honey, including muscovado, including cocoa sugar, even if it's natural sugar. So these sugars are actually considered as glucose that can spike insulin. And when the insulin is always elevated, it can induce inflammation, and inflammation is the very culprit when it comes to cancer formation. And cancer cells feed on glucose. They also feed on other things like glutamine, but glucose is the primary source. So another would be grains. So grains, including their byproducts, like grains like corn, like rice, like wheat, and their byproducts like corn chips, bread, cookies, pasta, anything that's using regular flour, even to some extent root crops or the starch like potato, french fries. Those are the things that when broken down from starch, it will still become glucose. And glucose will still feed cancer cells. I know you love all of these foods, but cancer cells, tumor cells, love it more. So if you want to eat those, just know that whenever you eat those, you are also feeding the other cells that are not healthy cells but are cancer cells. So, which ones you want to thrive, the cancer cells or the normal cells? So, those two groups are considered as insulin spiking. The sugar and the other sugar alternatives, the sweeteners, majority of them are still gonna spike your blood sugar. Grains and root crops are starch, and when broken down, will still become glucose. Number three food groups are the processed meats. So, number one on the list will be hot dogs, other processed foods like chicken nuggets, the hams, sausages for Filipinos, tocino, chorizo, and many others, especially the canned ones, even if it's fish, but if it's already canned and especially using the toxic oils, then it can still lead into cancer formation because of inflammation induction. The third food is generally when it is not yet processed, it is good. The fish, the chicken, the pork, the beef, the eggs, all of these foods are good for you, especially if it's from organic sources, grass fed, not much antibiotics, not much hormone injections. So if you are eating animal meat products, even if it's red meat, it's actually okay. But the moment it is already processed, the moment it already has a lot of food preservatives, especially if you eat them with the top two foods that feeds cancer cells, then eating these will only add more problems. So the fourth group would be the seed oils. Number one on the list would be canola. Why? Because the majority in the world, I think 99% of the people in the world believe that canola is the best oil. Canola is Canada oil, first used for industrial purposes, for machineries, not for human consumption, but it is now being marketed as good for humans just because it doesn't go into solid form when once it is put into a cold climate, cold temperature. But that criteria is not enough when it comes to assessing it if it's really good for us or not good for us. Saturated oils can even be better as long as it's natural oil, like coconut oil, like tallow, like butter, like grass fed lard. So, all of these natural oils are actually better as compared to these seed oils that are nothing similar to our natural oils in our system. We have more similarity when it comes to animal based oils. That's why it's better for us to consume them in their natural form as compared to these factory farmed, factory extracted oils. So for the other two, it's the inflammation inducing foods, the processed meats, and the seed oils. And lastly, the last but not the least is the food groups that would include both inflammation and both insulin induction. So that would be fruits and fructose. So fruits is made up mostly of fiber, vitamins, and minerals, but it is also loaded with fructose and glucose. If you want the vitamins and minerals, you are better off eating vegetables. If you don't like vegetables, then there's no need. You can just eat mostly natural meat, seafoods, eggs, all of those you can eat. But if you choose to have micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals coming from plants, you better choose the non starchy vegetables, because right now the fruits that we have are no longer organic, no longer seasonal, no longer locally available, locally sourced, no longer natural when it comes to their form. These fruits are now loaded with fructose and glucose. Glucose will induce your insulin, and fructose will induce your inflammation in the body when taken too much, especially that people in the Philippines can eat a kilo of mango in one sitting, can eat a whole bunch of bananas in one sitting, in one meal, like it's nothing, just because it's healthy. But maybe you are already doing it and overdoing it to a point that you are already feeding normal cells and helping them transition into tumors and helping them transition into cancers. So, fruits and fructose are both insulin spiking and inflammation inducing. So, it's the inflammation, insulin, or both, which would include the sugar, honey, muscovado, and everything sweet, even if it's wild honey, then the grains and starch, and of course, the processed meats. You are better off eating real meat. Instead of chicken nuggets, eat chicken breast, fried chicken that you cook in coconut oil. Avoid seed oils, because these are also the favorites of our cancers, tumors, and many other masses in the body. And lastly, too much fruits and fructose. If you have to eat fruits, eat it in moderation. Eat only the seasonal ones, the ones that doesn't have preservatives, the ones that doesn't have pesticides, the ones that are locally sourced. If you don't have that, it's not a worry. We can live without fruits. You can just eat vegetables. And even if you don't want vegetables, we can even live without vegetables. So that's the promise that we have to inform you as much as we can for those things that we know are best. So those are the five food groups that cysts, cancers, and tumors love. And we just finished our cancers and tumors live Q&A today. We do a Sunday interactive session, and I hope if you wish to know more, you can search on your own and try to look for better alternatives. Stay low carb and stay on the safe list of our food list. And if in case you are interested, we have a low carb and fasting masterclass ongoing for tumors and cancers. But that's it for today. I hope I'll see you in our another video. Thank you so much, and always remember to stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Goodbye, everyone. Have